Wall Street and who's more progressive.
The debate got heated last night between Democratic presidential candidates Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. Mary Maloney has the highlights.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
2 New York City police officers are being treated at a hospital after they were shot and wounded in the Bronx last night. Police said the male and female officers were on patrol in a public housing complex when they were confronted by an armed man who shot them. One officer was hit in the face, the other in the stomach. Both had been with NYPD for just 2 years. Police say the shooter ran from the scene and later shot and killed himself. In Texas, 2 Fort Bliss soldiers are behind bars and charged with the murder of a 16-year-old boy. 25-year-old Eric Duval and 20-year-old Tyler Shane Hall were arrested Wednesday in the death of Michael Anthony Tapia. According to court documents, the teenager was killed in a drug-related incident on January 16th. Police say Hall accused Tapia of stealing drugs from him before he and Duval were last seen with the teenager. An autopsy shows Tapia suffered a single gunshot wound to the back of the neck.
Right now, one person is in custody in connection to the kidnapping of a pregnant mother and her 3-year-old. Troopers say the mother and her 3-year-old are now safe. However, the FBI says the kidnapping complaint in this case is not legitimate. Investigators now say the mother could face charges. Authorities have been assisting in the case. They say the mother told a relative that she and her 3-year-old were kidnapped out of Kemper County. Police also confirmed that the 3-year-old was not at his or her daycare yesterday. Some crime prevention tips from the professionals for residents of Star. The neighborhood watch meeting was held at Star Baptist Church last night. Rankin County Sheriff Brian Bailey was there with some of his deputies. The sheriff also brought out the department's K-9 unit to display their crime-fighting techniques.
2 people are charged in connection with a fraud and embezzlement investigation spanning multiple states. Madison police charged Angela Brown of Atlanta and Ralph McCollum of Stone Mountain, Georgia. Both are in custody. Brown is charged with 2 counts of embezzlement and conspiracy to commit a felony and is being held in the Madison County Detention Center on a $600,000 bond. McCollum, who is awaiting extradition from Rockdale County, Georgia, is charged with 2 counts of conspiracy to commit a felony.
Oxford police want to know if you've seen this guy. Take a look. He's accused of stealing more than $5,000 in merchandise. Police shared this picture from the Oxford Walmart store on their Facebook page. If you recognize who this guy is, call police.
Officials with the Canton Public School District have confirmed with Fox 40 that Brent Ward is out of a job. He was the principal at Nichols Middle School. We're told it's because it's a personnel matter, the district's not releasing any other details at this point. Well, if you're still trying to file your taxes, here's some good news for you. The IRS is once again accepting and processing electronically filed returns. The agency says a hardware failure forced the shutdown of several processing systems, including e-filing. The IRS still expects 9 out of 10 taxpayers will get their refunds within 3 weeks. A spokesman says people who have already filed their returns don't need to do anything more.
Happening today, the monthly job numbers will be released. These include the unemployment rate, average hourly earnings, and payrolls. The U.S. job market strengthened at the end of 2015, posting its second-best year of job gains since 1999.
Vice President Joe Biden has made history as the first vice president to have a Facebook page. Biden posted some pictures to the page yesterday, including the day he was sworn in as VP. Biden's first Facebook post came on World Cancer Day. The cause is near to Biden's heart after his son, Beau, died of brain cancer in May of last year. President Obama has tapped Biden to lead a new task force designated to end cancer. The vice president says he'd like his page to be a place to discuss issues that matter.
Coming up on Fox 40 Morning News, it is an amazing video you don't want to miss. What happened to this man on a bike after he was dragged under a truck?
World leaders meeting in London have pledged more than $10 billion in humanitarian aid to Syrian refugees. The U.S. pledged $890 million this fiscal year. Secretary of State John Kerry called the crisis inside Syria everyone that it should tear at the conscience of all civilized people. UN agencies asked for money to help fund schools, shelter, and jobs for refugees from Syria's civil war. A cyclist in China somehow survived after being dragged underneath a truck. The man was riding an electric bicycle on an icy road when he fell down trying to avoid an oncoming truck. Well, the truck dragged the man and his bike under its front bumper. The cyclist emerged after the truck came to a stop. He lost only a finger in that crash. A man is recovering after a dangerous rescue that was caught on camera. Crews hoisted him off the side of a Washington dam after he spent days stuck on a mountain. In the video from the King County Sheriff's Office, you can see the responders balancing on the side of a helicopter hovering hundreds of feet above ground. The rescuer is hoisted down the side of the steep dam to the stranded man below. The 41-year-old man is homeless. He jumped a fence and planned to set up camp there, but later realized he couldn't get out. Even after days with little food or water and stuck above the White River, the man had only minor injuries.
Now I've got a bizarre story to tell you about out of Florida. An 8-year-old is in jail for the attempted robbery of a grocery store. Officials say he stole his mother's gun out of her purse Wednesday night. The mother says her 8-year-old son rode his bike to the grocery store. Once he got there and walked in, wearing a bike helmet and baggy clothes, there you see him on video right there. He goes towards the checkout counter and approaches the cashier. I cannot believe this story. Employees were able to detain this kid, and then they called the cops. Investigators say he will receive a mental evaluation. No word on if this boy or his mother will be charged. Well, good news now for potential home buyers. Average long-term U.S. mortgages have fallen for the 5th straight week. Mortgage buyer Freddie Mac says the average rate on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage dropped to 3.72% this week. That is down from 3.79% last week, and it's the lowest since it averaged 3.68% in April of last year. The average rate on a 15-year fixed-rate mortgage is also down, sliding to 3.01% from last week's 3.07%. What's going up is America's spending on Valentine's Day. According to the National Retail Federation, as Americans spoil their loved ones, they'll spend an average of $146 on flowers, candy, stuffed animals, jewelry, and other gifts on Valentine's Day.
That's $4.53 more than last year, and all that spending is expected to bring total spending on Valentine's to a record high of $19.7 billion. So what's the gift most people will be spending their money on this year? 50% of consumers surveyed said they plan to buy candy. Fire and burn hazards have prompted Dollar General to recall about 27,000 remote control construction truck toys. The recall involves a toy excavator and a shovel loader. Dollar General has received 5 reports of the toys' remote control overheating. No injuries have been reported. The toys were sold exclusively at Dollar General and online at dollargeneral.com. From last July through December, consumers should take the toys away from children and contact Dollar General for a full refund.
Driverless vehicles are a real phenomenon in 2016. You can even buy remote-controlled ATVs, but you need to be careful. Watch as this ATV barrels down an empty parking lot, crashes into a wall, you'll see this, and then starts doing donuts, okay? This is all without a driver. See it happening? 2 security cameras caught all this chaos. The ATV owners were able to finally gain control after a failed backflip. Luckily, nobody was hurt by this runaway ATV. Well, it doesn't get much worse than a rabid pit bull, but that's what some people in New Jersey have been dealing with. Cheryl Lassiter is digging up the details in the Alert Center. Cheryl.
Well, Joy, a rabid pit bull bit at least 3 people and a few other dogs. Now it's dead, but the nightmare has just begun for anyone who came in contact with a dog named Champ. The dog belonged to the daughter of Kim Davis. Davis says she was bitten on the finger, and now she will have to undergo a series of rabies shots. You see the house where it happened there. Champ lived in the backyard of that house with 3 other dogs, which are now in isolation. That's the latest from the Alert Center.
All right, Cheryl, thanks. It's National Wear Red Day. All of us here at Fox 40 are joining millions of people across the country and wearing red today to show support for women's heart health. Ashley Garner joins us live from Jackson this morning to tell you why you should too. Ashley, good morning.
Good morning, Wilson. I'm wearing red. Like you said, you guys are wearing red as well for National Wear Red Day. This is the biggest day for the American Heart Association. We're here at their location here in Jackson. Today, they're educating people about heart disease and raising money for women's heart disease and stroke. Now, the heart disease and stroke kills 1 in 3 women every year. The idea behind National Wear Red Day is to lower those statistics by making people aware of the risk risk of heart disease as well as how you can prevent heart disease. Aside from the attire and wearing red today, the American Heart Association is also asking people to donate to help fund research, and you can learn more about Go Red and National Wear Red Day on our website, msnewsnow.com. And of course, we'll have much more details about Go Red Day coming up in our next hour. But until then, if you are wearing red today, you can post on social media the pictures of you, your friends, and family wearing red today using the hashtag WearRedJackson. Reporting live in Jackson, Ashley Garner, Fox 40 News.
All right, Ashley, thank you. Well, coming up, we're 2 days away from Super Bowl 50, and federal authorities are cracking down on counterfeiters. We'll explain what you need to be aware of if you plan on buying tickets or NFL gear. You're watching Fox 40 Morning News. Welcome back to Fox 40 Morning News. It is 7:46.
Let's head outside for another look at your morning commute and first alert traffic. I-55 there at the Stack. You can see a lot of traffic there heading up toward downtown Jackson from the Stack, but it's all moving. There are no accidents in this area, just heavy traffic, which is typical for this time of morning. No accidents anywhere in the metro area so far this morning.
This is Fox 40 First Alert Weather.
7:46, and we're so glad you're with us on Fox 40 Morning News. A beautiful looking morning, but a very cold one, so want to bundle up before you head on out.
In entertainment news, Taylor Swift fans will soon be able to enjoy a new game starring the pop singer.
Rick Damigella has that story and more in the Hollywood Minute.
For Hollywood Minute, I'm Rick Damigella.
Rock and Roll Heaven has a new member this morning. Maurice White, the leader of the band Earth, Wind and Fire, died Wednesday night in his sleep. White's brother and the group's bassist, Verdine, made the announcement on his Facebook page yesterday. Among the group's more famous tracks are September, Shining Star, and Sing a Song. White was in music long before forming Earth, Wind and Fire. He moved to Chicago during his teenage years and was a drummer at Chess Records, playing on songs for Fontella Bass and Etta James. White was 74 years old. Now this update, a retired police officer is celebrating after being reunited with his canine partner. Retired police officer Matt Hickey received the opportunity to buy his dog, Ajax, for only $1. With an outpour of support from the Marietta, Ohio community, Hickey was reunited with his four-legged friend. The community raised as much as $70,000 for Hickey to buy the animal. When a police department disbands its canine unit, the canine handler gets the first opportunity to buy the dog. So the department offered Hickey the $1 deal. He couldn't refuse. The raised money will go towards a charity. A disturbing story now regarding those refugees that have been flooding Europe in the past few months. We want to get straight to Cheryl Lasseter. She has more from the Alert Center. Cheryl.
Well, Joy Online magazine The Hill is reporting this morning that ISIS fighters have been slipping into Europe disguised as refugees fleeing Syria. What you're looking at here is a raid in Germany that took place yesterday. Germany's domestic spy agency says we have repeatedly seen that terrorists have slipped in camouflaged or disguised as refugees. This is a fact that the security agencies are facing. That spy group has received more than 100 tips about ISIS fighters among refugee groups in Germany. And this does come one day after German forces thwarted a potential ISIS attack in Berlin. That's the latest from the Alert Center.
All right, Cheryl, federal authorities are working hard to catch counterfeiters trying to get rich on fake Super Bowl merchandise. Yesterday, Homeland Security officials gathered to give tips on making sure fans have a real Super Bowl ticket. Real ones have a San Francisco hologram and a logo with special ink that fades when heat is applied to it and then reappears when it cools. So far, agents have seized 440,000 items over the course of the last year, including jerseys, caps, and even fake Super Bowl rings. Authorities say the sale of this kind of gear can fund criminal activities and even terrorism.
And speaking of the bowl, previews are coming in for the big game on Sunday. Look at this. Budweiser always leaves people talking about their spots, right? Well, take a look at this one. It injects some humor into the political arena with some familiar faces in comedy.
Our Independence Day!
My fellow Americans.
Hey guys, can you be quiet? Seth and Amy are talking about our country.
They say we're a nation divided. They say we disagree on everything.
That's not true. We agree on a lot.
Like Paul Rudd. Everybody loves Paul Rudd.
I didn't know this was going to happen.
You know what else everyone loves?
Emojis.
No, Farmer.
Raccoons.
No, beer.
Beer.
Nothing brings America together like Bud Light.
That's why we're forming the Bud Light Party. Just wait till you see our caucus.
We got the biggest caucus in the country.
Woo-wee! But it's not like too big. Like You can handle it.
We will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today we celebrate our Independence Day.
Are you just quoting Independence Day?
Okay, well, that's just a little preview. But I know your face is a little sour.
Yeah, some of them really hit the mark, and you're like, that is something I'll never forget. And then others are kind of like, well, that just kind of doesn't do it.
No.
I'm not saying that one didn't necessarily do it.
It's a little racy. It's a little grown up. But, whatever. We'll find out. We'll see. It's got to be some. We'll wait for the puppy commercials. Those always warm the heart.
And the ones they haven't previewed are probably the best ones. So you'll have
probably. Yeah, we'll be right back.
Happening now on Fox 40 News.
Good morning. I'm Joy Redmond. Your time right now is 7:57. It is 31 degrees in the capital city, so a chilly start. Julia will have more on the weather in just a second. But first, here's a live look at First Alert traffic. If you're heading out the door, I-55 south of Briarwood, and oh yes, you will have some traffic to run into right in the thick of rush hour. But the good news is things are moving here where you're looking. There is an accident we want to make you aware of. It is on Briarwood, and it is near I-55, close to the IHOP. So if you travel that way to work and school, keep that in mind. May have a bit of a delay. Other than that, we are smooth sailing on this Friday morning. And again, as we mentioned, it's cold, right, Julia?
It is a very cold morning. The temps are in the 20s and low 30s right now, but we do have sunshine, so that at least makes it feel a little bit better inside the car if you're going to be heading out shortly. 31 degrees in Jackson, 31 in Vicksburg. Elsewhere, mostly in the upper 20s, Port Gibson and Brookhaven at 29. Macomb, the only spot right now that's above the freezing marker at 33 degrees. What you can expect through the afternoon, the First Alert Weather app shows that lunchtime will be around 50 degrees. We'll have sunshine all through the day. Today will be around 52 for a high temp. Not very warm, not even for this time of year. We're actually on the cool side, so won't have a jacket on today. We'll be in the 50s tomorrow and 60s on Sunday.
If you're watching us on WLBT, stay tuned for more of the Today Show. And on Fox, our Fox 40 Morning News continues right after this. Stay with us.